Welcome back, and today we're going to take a look at 4 new knives from Civivi. And one of these is actually one of my favorite offerings that they've had in a really long time. And I bet you can't guess which one that is. The first one we're going to look at is the Elementum Utility knife. Now this is a flipper deploying knife. It also has thumb studs as well. It's very smooth on bearings and has a beautiful aluminum handle. So really nice on the fit and finish of this tool, absolutely beautiful. They also decided to go with a holder that basically exposes the majority of the blade, making it pretty close to a real knife in total blade length, but having a very thin profile. There are only 2 issues that I have with this tool, and they're the same issues I voiced when they first showed this at, I want to say, Blade Show Atlanta 2023. The same problems are still present. And the first one is that you have to use a tool in order to take off the blade and be able to swap it out. So that's going to take time. It's also going to mean you have to have a separate tool in order to do that. And if someone's using this for work, that's probably not going to cut it. If you're actually using this for work and you're using it hard, the section that you're going to wear out is right at the tip, which means that the other tip that you might want to use is buried in here. So being able to flip it around is really important. And so it can't do that, and it can't do it quickly. That's one of the 2 issues. The other one is, because of the handle being kind of small, and this one is actually smaller than the standard Elementum, you need enough space in front of the flipper tab in order to kind of lock in your finger. And I feel it's a little precarious in its current situation. They really don't need to expose all this blade, and they could have easily added a 1/4 inch or more of this little protector, and I think it would have worked out better and probably not cost much, if any, cutting performance for utility style tasks, because this is doing most of the work right here. And in fact, there are some competitors out there. Now this one is a lot more expensive. This is the Tyrant Razor from EDC Designs, but it kind of has solved both of those problems, and it's been around for a little while. You can see plenty of space to choke up and push hard on this. I don't have to be easy or nice with it. And it also has the ability to take out the blade very quickly, and I can then flip it around, stick it back in. If I could do it through the viewfinder, there we go. And there we go. Very easy to go in and out. And I think that's very important. I think these things need to be addressed in future versions of the utility knife, but it's going to be popular. I almost guarantee it's going to be popular because it is significantly cheaper than some of the other tools on the market. Better? Definitely not. I would much rather, if I'm going to save my money, I'd much rather buy the base model of this, or maybe even a factory second, so I could get it a little bit more inexpensively. One thing that this does have is it has a button lock, which means that it will work left and right hand equally well, and the other one is not ambidextrous. So there are some advantages, and I think with just a few changes, this is going to end up being a really good offering and very popular for Civivi. Even better if they make it so that it's not only easy to deploy, but they have a built-in bottle opener right here. And the reason you do that is because if you want to carry it through TSA and it's actually a bottle opener, you can say, hey, no, it's just a bottle opener. And what will happen is they will let it through without the blade. Okay? The one from Big Idea Designs has this feature, and I know a lot of people who have walked through TSA like 20 or 30 times just because it is a folding bottle opener. That's what it is, right? That happens to take utility knife blades. Those are the things I would recommend for them. Overall, a great first offering, really high quality, decent price for what it is, just not quite there, at least not for me anyway. The next knife we're going to talk about is called the Regulatron. Regulatron? Something like that. It's a very interesting name. That's the biggest thing I will say about this knife. Now, first of all, one thing I love about Civivi and pretty much all their knives is they do an excellent job putting jimping on the flipper tab of the knife, as they should, and every single company should do this. I love that they do it. They're consistent, and I love it. Jimping on the flipper tabs, guys, that's the way it should be. Now we have a Nitro V blade steel here, between 58 and 61 depending on the type. So if it's black wash, it's going to be a little bit softer with a maximum of 60 HRC, but overall pretty good. Came incredibly sharp out of the box. This is a sub 3-inch or just under 3-inch blade. And I mean, it's executed very, very well. We have an ambidextrous clip. We have wood handles for this particular variety. But for me, it's Civivi. And they're always nailing it. They're always making these incredible knives. But I feel like they've done such a good job in the past that this just feels like kind of a step down compared to, I don't know, the Cubit, which is also in Nitro V, the Altus, which I believe is also in Nitro V and sub 3 inches, or the Elementum, which is also less than 3 inches and in Nitro V. So how many of these do we actually need? That's the real question. Now, had this come out, and this is what I would have recommended to them, with FRN handles. So check this out. You release it with FRN handles, or maybe you just re-release this with FRN handles and just call it a day. But you release it in a form where you can get the price point down below 50, right? You have Nitro V blade steel in a knife under 50 released from Civivi. Now you have my attention because it's putting itself in a lower price point in comparison to these other knives, where these other knives, they're basically the same price. They're very, very close to the same price. And if they're going to be similar, this doesn't beat anything on the table here. The Cubit is by far my favorite of these three. It is crazy slicey, super fun to fidget, absolutely excellent, and just a phenomenal, comfortable handle. The Altus, once again, it's kind of similar in many, many ways. I like it also, just a little bit different grind, a little bit thicker. And then, of course, we have the hollow ground Elementum 2, once again with a flipper tab. They improved the sharpening choil. I love the hollow ground blade on this. This isn't offering anything that they've not already done. I feel like this was a release for the sake of release, and I'm not sure I get it. So I hope Civivi understands what I'm saying. I'm not saying they did a bad job, not by any stretch, but you guys have spoiled us to such an extent. I mean, look at these incredible knives that you guys release. Just did a phenomenal job. It's really hard to top it. So you got to be careful. I mean, I wouldn't even bother. You're at this point. You're just doing such a good job with the sub 3-inch range. With these three knives, yeah, it's not really a thing unless you can create a new price point for it. That's my big thing. Also, speaking of price points, I forgot that I still have a discount code that works on Civivi's website that gives you 15% off full price items. I will leave that down below. I completely forgot about this. That code is still active. So if you do not find a good deal on any knife from Civivi, but you're able to get a better discount by using that code on their website, I just want you to know it's available. All right, so just that for now, I just want to mention. But this knife, you know, it's not even that comfortable of a handle, especially when you compare it to these other ones, which have a variety of different handle styles, blade shapes, but all of them come in under 3 inches, and in many ways, I think, have better features with this super slicey blade and just super comfortable handle on this one. Hollow ground blade on this, super nice on the Elementum 2. I actually am a big fan of the polished Altum for this particular one. Very, very nice. And then, of course, the Altus. And this comes in G10 as well, which is probably going to be about the same price or cheaper than that. So, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about this one. Let me know. Am I wrong? Did I miss something? Maybe this is a great, like a really awesome knife that I just don't get it. It's possible. I miss things all the time. Okay, I love it when I'm surprised. I love it when you get a knife. I'm not expecting a lot. It wasn't even the knife that I was originally excited about, and yet it's the one that turns out to be really, really good. This is called the ExOne. It is another one of those just under 3-inch blade knives. So it's another sub 3-inch blade, but the difference is it's a completely different blade shape, and it has a super slicey hollow grind. Look at that thing. Woo! That is a laser beam right there that they've created. This thing is sharp and slicey. In fact, this is probably thinner behind the edge than the Elementum. The other thing I really, really like about this, and I'm going to bring in the Elementum again, the positioning of the flipper tab is just a little bit different. For whatever reason, it comes out of here like a bullet. It does really, really good. It is absolutely excellent on deployment. Better than most Civivis, even better than the Praxis, which is pretty awesome. That's a good reference point. I got the one with Damascus, and I'm really into the Damascus right now. I don't know why, but man, Damascus and wood together, it's like a match made in heaven. Two completely unique profiles, right? You're never going to get the same grain twice, and you're probably not going to get the exact Damascus pattern either. So I kind of like that. It's a little bit unique. The jimping on here is also pretty interesting. Surprisingly, not too bad. And this knife having a fuller makes it very easy to reverse flick as well. I can even thumb flick from that fuller because the detent is perfect, and my thumb kind of catches right in that corner. It's just the right amount to be able to do it. I really like this knife. Actually, I didn't expect this, but I like it, and I like it a lot. Now, it's not my favorite one that they gave me this time around, but of all the knives we've talked about, when we're talking about the sub 3-inch range from Civivi, which is stacked to the gills, right? No, that's not the right reference. I'm pretty sure that's the wrong reference. But anyway, stacked to the something. It's actually offering something different, right? Like this makes sense to me. This has something. I'm down for this, especially with that hollow grind. Oh my God, that is some slicey heaven right there. Just crazy how well that pulls through things. Yeah, I really like this one. I didn't think it would be the one I would like. When you look at the shape of the handle, it doesn't look very comfortable. It doesn't feel like it should be as nice as it is, but especially with this little angled approach over here, let me try not to bang things. Even when your hands are a little bit bigger, you have like a spot for it. Like my hands just about fit in there, but if you're a little bit bigger, you have like a kind of an angle approach for your pinky. I think they really thought this through. Whoever designed it did a really, really good job. And it is offering something a little bit different in this particular case. Nicely done. Once again, this is called the ExOne. Very different name. But yeah, I like it. We have mostly Nitro V, by the way, other than the Damascus, which is a great choice. It's going to be, of course, a hollow ground. They're calling it reverse tanto, but it's kind of more like a Warncliffe, I think. I'm not exactly sure the distinction, but it is a straight line across, and it is hollow ground, and I absolutely love it. The other ones are in canvas micarta, and they also have G10 as well. Overall, I got nothing bad to say about this one. This is actually a decent offering and is worth considering if you're looking for something in this sliciness and blade shape and size. Enough said. Now this is excellent. In fact, this might be my favorite knife Civivi has made since the Vision FG. Now look, I'll be real with you. It's not a knife I'm going to carry all the time. What I like so much about it is that the person who designed it knew exactly what they were doing, and they built a purpose-driven tool that they thought of everything and did it correctly. So let me run you through what's happening here. So this is not the run-of-the-mill kind of folding knife. This is a purpose-driven defensive tool, okay? And it's built with it in mind. You have a G10 handle scales, but the cutouts actually add additional grip, which is really important. You also have jimping in the middle and in different places to keep your hand from sliding up, regardless of where you are, inside or out. It is also more of a kind of a universal handle shape, so regardless of which way you're holding it, it's going to grip your hand. There's even a flare at the bottom that'll keep you from having the blade slide out as well. And because of the guard, it will also prevent you from sliding up on the blade. All of these things are really important. Now, speaking of the blade, we have hollow ground spear point blade in Nitro V, and it is sharpened only on one side, so that it is legal in most places. And the blade length is just kissing up to that 4-inch mark, basically making it legal in most places, and thankfully is not above that 4-inch mark, so I'm not going to get in trouble for it. The other thing that's really important is this pocket clip. A lot of times we get deep carry pocket clips, but you do not want a deep carry pocket clip for anything designed like this. And the reason is you want the flare part of the knife to be sticking out so that when you catch it with your pinky, you actually can pull out the knife and immediately deploy it. Now there's multiple ways to deploy this knife. You have the flipper tab on the back, which has jimping as it should. You have the thumb stud. You can reverse flick the knife, although not very easily. And you can front flip the knife as well. I only have one. It's not even really a complaint. I just think I would really like it because it almost works already. If this had more of a hook shape versus the way it's designed, it would function as a wave opener. In fact, hold on, let me take out my knife for a second here. It already kind of does that. Let me just try this. Yeah, I mean, I just pulled this out of my pocket and it immediately opened because this caught on the corner and pulled out the knife. And it's just like, just pulls it out. If this is kind of got a little inset part where there's an acute angle, it would work even better. I might even modify this in order to do exactly that. But if they do make a future iteration or another one of these, please make it have the wave opener. Then we are set. We are ready to rock. Then it becomes a true competitor in this category, even like a budgety Emerson, right? Because this is some of the same characteristics that Emerson has pioneered with their knives, well, not having the deep carry clip, extra grippy texture, extra jipping along the way, a guard, long blades, you get it. So everything here, fantastic. They have done a phenomenal job, and whoever this designer is, I'll have to look it up. I'm actually not sure. I don't have the information for this particular knife available to me right now. They know exactly what they're doing. This is a phenomenally well executed knife. Yeah, not much more to say. Love it. And there we are, 4 knives from Civivi that, well, they're all really good, but that shouldn't surprise anyone. Civivi does a really, really good job with their knives. I think it's almost for sure this is my favorite one, but this was a huge surprise for me. Seeing something that I didn't expect to like, but then all of a sudden did, that's always of note. And it doesn't happen often when it comes to reviewing knives, especially when you get a lot of them. Love it. Absolutely excellent. As always, thank you guys so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.